a while. Listen, and if that is not a good reason to like, follow, subscribe, bell notification, all those things that help this channel out, I really don't know what is. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, guys, okay? Zero phase has been initiated. Russia is preparing for a war with NATO. I'm slightly late today because I've literally, like 30 seconds ago, just got off with my phone. I've just got off my phone and I was on a call with my friend who's actually on the ground in Ukraine, and he was telling me all about drone warfare. He was telling me all about I know about drone warfare. He was telling me about drone warfare, what's going to happen next. We were talking about Tomahawk missiles. We were talking about beer as well, and a lot of other stuff. We was also talking about Tomahawk steaks. Just real quick before we start, Googly is saying, Sean, did you see it in the link? Yes, I did see the link, Googly. Thank you so much for that. Listen, guys, today we're all talking right now, ladies and gentlemen, on this live stream. We are going to be talking about the war, the potential. I've got to be careful what I say on the live stream, guys. We're talking about the potential war with Russia and NATO. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, NATO was set up to fight Russia. Russia has always been NATO's enemy. That's where we are right now. Look, guys, before we continue, there's a lot of caveats to what I'm about to talk about. First of all, caveats about drone warfare. Now, look, guys, I don't know how long you guys have been following this channel, but I've been talking about the Spectre, what just happened there? Let me get that on. The Spectre, the prospect of global conflict of an industrial scale. Now, it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, UK Parliament have already discussed some of the things I've been talking about. So for you guys who've been following me for a while, there's if you guys want to do a Google search for Delta Tango Delta 0012. That is a written evidence submitted by the Home Office with support from the Ministry of Defence and the Ministry of Transport about the potential of drone warfare inside the United Kingdom. Look, guys, how many times? Literally I mean, I don't want a number because I don't think anybody knows because it's a lot. How many times have I been warning about the threat of drones, like the threat of drones in the United Kingdom? I've been talking about it for like a long time, guys. I really have. Drone warfare in the United Kingdom with domestic goods. So look, guys, we know, I know, you know, we know, because of recent mainstream media articles, that people can make such things as ricin. We know that. We know people in the United Kingdom can make ricin. Ricin's a chemical, it's poisonous. It will fuck your day up, guys. If you start ingesting ricin, it's going to fuck your day up all night long. So with that in mind, there are other chemicals you can produce. I'm not going to name them, guys, and I would never name things unless they've been brought out in the mainstream media. There are explosive materials that you can make with home ingredients. There's a lot of nasty stuff that you can produce at home with a cooker. Hang on, where do I go with this? You can, if you've got a pressure cooker, a microwave, and a sunbed. Literally, guys, if you've got a pressure cooker, a microwave, and a sunbed, literally the world is your oyster. If you're a bad guy, and you want to produce harmful materials, and you've got those three items: pressure cooker, sunbed, and what did I say? I said three. Pressure cooker, microwave, and a sunbed. You can produce a lot of crazy shizzles. Guys, okay? So I'm going to talk in a moment about in fact, let me click this screen. I'm going to give a little prelude right now, guys, okay? So this is from a website called RBC Ukraine. Russia begins phase 0 in build-up for war with NATO. The appearance of This was an article released. Hang on, I need to be clear about this. So Monday, 13th of October at 0650 UK time, international time, I don't know. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? If you're on international time, forget international time, because all time starts and ends in the United Kingdom. Why? Because we invented time. There was no time before the United Kingdom, guys. The United Kingdom, the time begins and ends in Greenwich. Greenwich Mean Time, Greenwich Meridian is the beginning and the end of all time. You guys want to talk about mesh timing, alternate timelines? We're not doing that today. We'll maybe do that tomorrow. So we are talking about zero phase, phase zero, Russian build-up to war with NATO. Now, I'm going to read you guys off this RBC Ukraine. Like I said, guys, this was an article released today, RBC Ukraine, Monday, October 13th, 2025, 0650. Excuse me. Which was like 850 at the country of release. The appearance of a small group of military personnel on the Russian-Estonian border is part of the Kremlin's preparation for an information and psychological platform for a possible future war with NATO. Now, this is according to the Institute for, excuse me, guys. Now, this is according to a report by the Institute for the Study of War, which is kind of a credible. I know people who write for this article, and the people who are, hang on, guys, I just got a message come through. What's that? Hang on, guys, hang on. Just minute, chuvak. What's that going on? Sorry, guys, I may have to do some work. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know I'm the real deal. I've literally got work coming in right now, ladies and gentlemen. What time is it? It's like dark o'clock. I have got work coming in right now, guys, okay? So look, let me go through this, and then I'll get the chat, and then I'll go on to my monologue. What I'm going to do this evening, guys, with my monologue, like a couple of days ago, I gave an opening monologue about a potential attack, a hypothetical attack on the United Kingdom, a complicated attack or a marauding terror attack. If you've not watched that video, go check it out. What I'm going to do right now, in a minute, once I've got the chat and once I've got this article, I'm going to give you guys my 3 main areas of concern. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up, and I'm not flim-flammering or swilly-swizzling. I've always said, 1, the Finland-Russia border. It's huge. Anybody who's got any military credibility will say the Finland-Russian border is huge. It's unpoliceable. It's undefendable. It's so big, guys. It's huge. Also, the Suwalki Gap, the Suwalki Corridor, the Suwalki land grab, which is a small piece of land. It's about 60 kilometers between Belarus and Kaliningrad, which would give the Russians a land corridor to the Baltics, which we all know they want. And Poland. Poland's my main intent, guys. Poland's where I think it's going to happen. But on the evening of Friday, the 10th of October, and guys, look, so much stuff's been happening. I've been struggling with these live streams. I've been planning a live stream, and something's going to happen, and then something else pops up, and then I'm dealing with that, and then we've got the peace deal in the Middle East. Oh, God, it's all going off. So on the evening of Friday, 10th of October, the Estonian government temporarily closed a section of the road near the state border between Russia and Estonia, after Estonian border guards spotted a small group of Russian servicemen in the area without identification markings. Now, that's what's happened, guys. What I'm saying right now is didactic fact. This is not speculation. This is real. This is like really, really real stuff. On the 12th of October, yesterday, The Estonian foreign minister said that Russian troops were acting more decisively and noticeably than before. However, he described exaggerated reports suggesting the situation at the border was becoming increasingly tense. Now, look, guys, so what we can see right now is these build-ups by these border towns. And remember, guys, NATO Article 5 is not worth the paper it is written on. So, guys, I am going to get onto the chat right now. I think I've done all my prelims. From May 2020, from May this year, satellite images show Russian military buildup near the Finland border. Now, this is true and it's not true. It's certainly true, but it's certainly not as, it's not what it seems. So the satellite images showing the Russian military buildup near the Finland border, what that is the Russian military renovating or making their bases near the Finland ready to accept troops, if that makes sense. So, like, I don't know, it's kind of like sending engineers in first to make sure all the barracks have got running water, you can feed people, you've got roads that are not going to get bogged down. It's kind of like the phase like 0-1, if that's even a thing. Also, guys, from May 2025, Finland preparing for the worst as Russia expands its military presence near the border. So that's what we're leading with today, guys. Can you do me a real big favor? And I know you want to. I do, guys. I know you want to, because I know you guys want to know what's going to happen in the future. I know you guys are not listening about fake news about what's happening today. I know that you guys want to know what's happening in the future. And the only way to do that is to subscribe to this channel, The Real Raven 1 on YouTube, The Real Raven 1 on TikTok. And like, I think it's like the real underscore. I don't even know what I am on. I don't know what I am on X, guys. And I'm something like that on X as well. Like the real I don't know. Guys, if somebody can put my X thing somewhere in a chat, I would appreciate that. So, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to skip right now like a swizzly dizzly. We are going to skip straight away to a potential. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to do that, actually. I'm going to come onto the chat. I'm going to get the chat on TikTok, and I'm going to get the chat on YouTube. And then we are going to go into a potential, hypothetical, for entertainment purposes only, which is totally my speculation, analysis, and opinion. I don't know how many caveats I need to do before I get the video banned. You know, for a UK audience, a hypothetical invasion, a hypothetical Russian invasion of Europe. Where I think it's going to be, and guys, I will be honest, you know, if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know the direction of travel I think this is going. I think drone warfare, I think mass industrialization, I think Finland, I think the Suwalki Corridor, the Suwalki Gap, whatever you want to call it, and I think Poland. They're the things I've always been talking about. So let me get onto the chat, guys, and then we will talk about a potential green warfare strike into Europe by the Russians. And guys, look, let me just caveat this again. For this explanation, I am going to totally forget. I'm not even going to mention asymmetric warfare. I'm not going to mention, you know, sabotage. I'm not going to mention subversion. I am just going to purely go on green warfare. No special, maybe tiny bit of special forces. No special forces, tiny bit. No special forces. I'm going to concentrate on green warfare because, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe, and you know what, guys, let's just face it, I'm right. I am 100% right. If it comes to war, tanks, planes, trains, automobiles, I'm always right. Somebody put in the comments where I've been wrong. Anyway, guys, let me jump onto TikTok. I'll get the TikTok chat, and then I will jump onto the YouTube chat, and then we will continue. Right. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, all you YouTube TikTokers. Good evening, everyone on TikTok. Right, guys, listen. If you're on TikTok and you want to put a comment on, throw that, and you can't. Look, guys, I know that. Guys, look, I feel like a douchebag. If you want to put a comment on, throw it over on YouTube, guys, okay? I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on TikTok. If you can't get a comment up on TikTok, throw that over to YouTube, guys. I'll try and get as many as I can. And thank you, everybody, for sharing the live, guys. That really does help me out. So, lots of people joining. We've got Leanne, we've got Callum, we've got May, we've got Rose, we've got Joyce, we've got Michael, John Taylor, we've got Hannah Ridgeon, we've got Leanne again. Leanne joined on twice. Leanne must have been kicked off. We've got JP, Echo Sierra 6-man. We've got Bird McNally. Guys, lots of people joining. Googly saying, Sean, did you see it? The link? Yes, I did see the link. I did indeed. Thank you so much for sending me that. Carlos is saying good evening. Good evening to you, Carlos. Jody Lee is saying good evening as well. Lakeland Deluxe Caravan. Hello, Lakeland Deluxe Caravan. How are you? I love going up to the Lake District in the United Kingdom. Quite possibly one of the most beautiful places in the world. Nellie Leslie, guys, so many people joining. Thank you, everybody who's joining on. TikTok. Lisa's page, Steve Kez, user 090917. I bet he's a cool guy. I bet he gets invited to a lot of parties. I bet those parties do not ask you to put your car keys in a fishbowl. So many people joining. Right. Googly is saying Sean in capital letters, and then he's throwing out Conrad Dyson's shared the live as well. Thank you, Conrad. Jill shared the live. Mia Lau. Right, guys, it's just wild tonight, guys. It's absolutely wild. It's like carnival. It's like Carnival Spectre. A news article done by Weon has a similar title 1 hour ago, says Google. Okay, so Google, this phase 0, what I'm talking about now, phase 0, is something that came out from the Institute. What is it? The Institute of Modern War. Hang on, let me get it. From the Institute for the Study of War. The Institute Study of War. That's what they're saying, guys. We are in 0 hour. We're not even in 0 hour, guys. Stop. We're not in 0 hour. We're in phase 0. We are in phase 0, which is the preparation for war. Right, let me get back onto this, guys. Give me a second. That one, maybe? Yeah, we're good. Right. Sharon Owen is saying good evening. Good evening to you, Sharon Owen. I hope you are well. I hope your family's well. I hope everybody's well. Kim Doherty, Keith Taylor. Guys, let me just jump down and get these comments. Perovsky, Kim Doherty joined back again. Gerald Reynolds. Right, guys, look, I'm going to stop that there. I'm going to stop that there because I need to start my monologue. I'm just conscious that we're probably going to run out of time. There is so much stuff happening right now. And look, guys, you know, right now, just as a side quest, I don't want any questions or comments about this right now. I may do this tomorrow morning. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're on at 10 in the mornings and 8 in the evening. Every day, 100% of the time. I work 50% of the time. That's how we roll. This asteroid, you know the asteroid that's heading towards Earth right now at a rapid rate of knots? Everybody's saying it's weird. When it first started, it was like, oh, yeah, it's just something. And now it's like, yeah, it's getting weirder as we speak. Right now, we should be getting pictures from the Mars satellites and other satellites in that region because this flew very close to Mars. It's going to fly very close to Jupiter, then it's going to be on the other side of the sun. Guys, look, the 3-Eye Atlas could be aliens. It's a non-zero chance now. It's a non-zero chance. There is a percentage that this asteroid, 3-Eye Atlas, could actually be aliens. I'm not saying it's a high chance, guys, and I'm saying the likelihood is that it's not aliens, but it might be aliens. And would it surprise anyone if this asteroid was aliens? I know it wouldn't surprise me. Right, guys, I'm going to jump over to the YouTube channel. Guys, I'm not going to lie. There's so many comments on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to be able to get them. Not a chance am I going to be able to get through all those YouTube channel comments. Welcome, everyone on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. We are Triple Streaming, and I understand that you guys can't see my left hand. It doesn't matter, guys. I've got two. I've always got two hands, the left hand and the right hand. Maybe those things are in synchronicity. I think they are if the brain is in synchronicity. Right, guys, I'm just going to get the last comments. Slim is saying it's a lump of space dirt. Slim, I agree with you. The most likely outcome is that it is a lump of space dirt. I totally agree with you, Slim. What I can't deny is there are strange things happening. What's that thing that we used to watch in the 80s? Going around the twist. Slim, I agree with you 100%, buddy. I believe, the likelihood is this is going to pass without incident. But the longer this goes on, the weirder it gets. Right? I don't want to go with that anymore. Donna Hogan, Donna, I've tried responding to your messages on TikTok, and for some reason your settings won't let me respond to you on TikTok, so I can't respond to your TikTok. So if you're sending me messages, so Donna, you're sending me like links and stuff on TikTok, I can't respond to you. I'm not being rude. I just can't respond to you because of your privacy settings. Donna Hogan is saying the Russian government has approved a draft law giving Russian leader Vladimir Putin the authority to call up mobilization reservists, not only during the war or formal mobilization. Look, guys, I'm going to monologue in a minute about this, but the situation in Eastern Europe is unlike anything we've ever dealt with before. Ever. Literally ever. We, like, here in the West, oh yeah, we've got 6 professors, and they're all top of their game and they're working on new technology. Shut your mouth and start building shit. We need stuff. We don't need ideas right now, guys. The time for ideas will come after this war, when there's a new renaissance, when we start to go into space. Right now we need people to build shit. That's what we need, guys. Right now we need people to build shit. James is saying, I watched the Apophis asteroid for over 10 years. It will destroy 1/3 of Earth. You will see it in the sky 2027. It hits October 2028. So okay, right. Look, guys, I don't want to go into asteroids right now. I want to focus on phase 0, Russia preparing for a war with NATO, which is real, and that's right now. James over on YouTube is saying, I've watched the Apophis asteroid for over 10 years. What kind of telescope have you got, James? It will destroy 1/3 of Earth. You will see it in the sky 2027. It will hit Earth between October 2028 to April 2029. What I'm understanding right now, guys, is Apophis is another asteroid that's like 2029. That comes closest to Earth on Friday, the 13th of April. Yeah, that's not unlucky at all, is it? Like, does this make sense to you guys? Friday, the 13th of April, 2029. Look, guys, I don't want to go down, that road again. I want to talk about war. I want to talk about countries getting ready. I want to talk about, hypothetical for entertainment purposes only, a conflict, a Russian strike, a Russian preemptive strike, a Russian invasion on NATO soil into Europe. Now, look, guys, I'm just going to get onto this. I'm not going to do any more questions right now. I will jump onto the questions afterwards. Oh, hang on, I'll do this one now. Slim is saying, I was created by the machines to confuse people with my charm and humor. Slim, you missed one thing. I'm going to rephrase that, Slim, and I'm going to say you was created by the machines to confuse people with your charm, good looks, and humor. There you are, Slim. I'm assuming you're a gentleman. I'm assuming you're a lady killer. Right, guys. Anyway, look. AJ Athletics is saying, Slim, you need to get out more, mate. Don't we all need to get out more? Right, guys, look, stop. Right, guys, there's lots of comments, lots of people commenting. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at half an hour. I need to get onto this, right? So what I'm going to give you guys now, I think it went well the last time I did this, and I was talking about a hypothetical strike by an unknown organization on the United Kingdom. I was talking about a complicated terror attack or a marauding terror attack on the United Kingdom. I think that went well. So now I'm going to give you guys a hypothetical Russian attack onto NATO. When I talk about this, guys, I am going to assume for this we have got no small special forces contingent. We have got no United States air support. The United States are not playing with this. It's just Europe minus the United States. Asymmetric warfare, sabotage, guys. I'm not touching that, right? I'm just going down green warfare, conventional green warfare. So let's continue, guys. Let's continue. I can see the chat going, guys. I can see the chat. I'm not gonna go on to it, guys. I need to get this done. Right. So, excuse me. October 2020. Oh, sorry, it's October 2025. As I'm doing this video, guys, and we're talking about phase 0. Phase 0, which be Russia preparing for war with NATO. So Russia is clearly hardened by its 2014 annexation of Crimea and the brutal slogging Ukraine since 2014, and the brutaler slog in Ukraine. Guys, look, when I say brutaler, when you consider the conflict in Afghanistan, the British military losses, just the British military, we're a tiny country. The British military's losses in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2021 were 457. Now, I'll come on to the numbers in a minute, but when we look at the numbers in Ukraine, that's like a good day for Ukraine. That's a good, if the Ukrainians only lost 457 in one day, you'll be like, yeah, it's not been a bad day today. Equally on the Russian side. So the numbers are phenomenal, guys. And this is why I always say, we are heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. And more people will start to talk about that as time progresses. And if not, ladies and gentlemen, if that's not a prompt for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, hit those bell notifications, I really don't know what is. Anyway, sorry. So with 2025, here we are. Russians have been fighting this war. Let's just assume for the purpose of this explanation that Russia spots cracks in the West. For whatever reason, the US may be bogged down by X, Y, and Z, whatever conspiracies you want to go with. But I'm going to say it's going to be the United States are going to be bogged down in a war in the Middle East, supporting their regional allies, i.e. Israel. So for this context, guys, the United States are out of the question. They're not even going to get involved, guys. They're not going to get involved. So Moscow pouncers. So Moscow's pounced. They're kicking off and they're starting what military minds are calling phase 0. A shadowy build-up straight out of Crimea's playbook. Disinformation floods social media platforms. TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook, painting NATO as the aggressor. Oh, it's NATO expansionists. Oh, it's NATO doing this. Oh, we're just friendly Russians wanting to protect ourselves. Stirring up division, stirring up confusion between people who have no idea what's going on. And these people who have no idea what's going on, do you know what they do have? They have a vote, and they can vote. So cyber attacks, knocking out banking systems, power grids, whatever else you guys can think of. 150,000, you know, well, let's not go with 150,000. Let's go with 135,000 Russian troops start to amass near Finland, masked as a snap exercise. Oh, it's an exercise we're just having. Does this remind you guys of Crimea? Does this remind you guys of the 2022, the 2021 build-up? Sorry, on the Russian border, on the Belarusian border. It all makes sense. These are tried and tested tactics, guys. Okay, you know these things will happen in the future. Trust me, guys. All right, trust me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm never wrong. So let's map out Russia's moves now. Again, let's be an illusion, guys. Okay, what I'm going to talk about here is a three-pronged attack. How likely that is, I would say the Russians should concentrate on one of those attacks rather than three, but I'm going to go with all three. I'm going to go with all three, guys. I'm going to go with the worst-case scenario, so even though the Russians are stretched thin. Now, the war in Ukraine has cost Russia around 500,000 casualties. Now, look, guys, when you consider that the army in the United Kingdom is like, what, 74,000 or something? So you've got to put this into context, all right? So the British Army, as of January 2020, I think January 2025, somebody fact check me if I'm wrong. Of January 2025, the British Army was 74,000, right? Bear that in mind. The Ukraine conflict has cost Russia 500,000 casualties. Now, put that into context, guys. Just think about the numbers. And then remember what I keep saying, what I've always said. We are heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. This is going to be an industrialized conflict. I'm not going to rehash old tropes, guys, but you know I've been talking about this a long time. So 500,000 casualties, half their tanks. Now this is as per Russian Ministry of Defense official estimates. I don't think the real numbers will ever be released, guys. You can say there's a lot more. You can say that, you know, I don't think the real numbers will ever be released, guys. I don't think we're ever going to know. So, you know, let's just talk about Finland first. Let's just talk about Finland. In Finland, you know, let's just say that 135,000 troops, and it's these, so for the reason I'm saying 135,000 is Vladimir Putin just said they need to recruit an extra 135,000 troops. Remember, the Russians are using conscripts, so they can keep pumping them. They know how to use conscripts. So let's just say 135,000 troops amass on the Russia-Finland border. Guys, the Russia-Finland border is unpoliceable. You can't defend that. It's too big. You can defend it, but the cost is prohibitive. So 135,000 troops led by Russian Spetsnaz in unmarked gear infiltrate the small border towns, you know, along that border, echoing Crimea's little green men. Iskander missiles hammer Helsinki's defenses, aiming to paralyze. That's what the first phase would be, guys. That's what the first phase would be. In Poland, airstrikes, hypersonic missiles, Kinzhals, Caliber cruise missiles. What's the other one they've got? They've got the Caliber. They've got the MAB. Is it MAB? FAB. Sorry, FAB. The FAB 3000. You know, surface air to ground missile guided munitions. These things would absolutely decimate Poland's air defenses. You know, we've already seen this. And look, guys, I've been talking about this for such a long time. If the Polish airfields, where they may or may not be flying NATO-led F-16s from, I feel that's fair game, guys. I really do. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm trying to be as objective as I can be. Also, then you've got through Belarus, you've got that what's the word I'm looking for? That surge capacity through Belarus, through the Suwalki corridor, to the Suwalki Cap, whatever you want to call it, maybe 60 kilometers, 60-kilometer choke point. So you've got Poland on the south, Lithuania at the top. So you've got Poland on the south, Lithuania on the north, Belarus on the, what's that way? East. And then I'm thinking I'm doing it the opposite way. And then you've got the Russian enclave, which would be Kaliningrad on the west. That would be a 72-hour operation, guys. So I think all of this could happen in 72 hours, guys. You know, and can you imagine what a wild 72 hours that would be? And remember, from the Russian side, they've got to work fast. The Russians have got to work fast. Now, the United Kingdom, guys, here in the United Kingdom, I'm going to give you a UK slant right now. Look, guys, if there's any subject matter experts out there, please call me out. Please tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and stay on the chat for my response. And if you're going to call me out as a subject matter expert, please put it down there, and I will respond to you if you articulate that articulately. So the United Kingdom, guys, we have serious skin in this game. Like the United Kingdom, if anyone wants to call, if anybody has an adverse opinion on this, guys, the United Kingdom is leading this coalition right now. You know, there's no denying that, guys. The United Kingdom is leading in Ukraine right now, guys. There's no denying that. So, the United Kingdom, guys, we have serious skin in the game. We really are skinning in the United Kingdom. Excuse me. Now, the United Kingdom, the military in the United Kingdom, the army, what do we say? 74,000. It's very small. It's small, but it's potent. And that's what you need to understand. You know, having 100,000 conscript. I think there's an Afghan saying. If you guys have watched Rambo 3, there's an Afghan saying, better to send 3 lions. No, is it 3? 1 lion than 1. I think it's like better to send 1 lion than 1,000 sheep, or something like that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, guys, you know, the British military is small, but it's very capable. The Russian military is very big, but they lack that tactical capacity. So it's very difficult when you're doing like for like numbers comparison in the initial phases, anyway. You know, but Britain has a shit ton of Typhoon aircraft. We have F-35s, F-35Bs, which are a cornerstone of NATO. But without the United States, I mean, I think the United States have like 700 F-35s, guys. It's ridiculous. You know, the United States, for those of you guys who don't know, the United States has the world's biggest air force. The world's second biggest air force is the United States Navy. So when people talk about air superiority, I don't think, like, you know, when we talk about modern warfare, like people really underestimate what air superiority gives you. Air superiority gives your special forces freedom of movement. It gives your drones freedom of operation. It gives you control of the skies. It gives guys, honestly, air superiority is key in everything. Air superiority, as far as I'm concerned, air superiority trumps air defenses, because you can send more aircraft to take out those air defenses. And once those air defenses are gone, you're not going to get them back in place. So, you know, I'm a big fan of doing things from the air. Obviously, ex-British airborne forces, as I'm speaking. So, you know, Britain has a lot of skin in this game, guys. You know, we have a lot of aircraft, we have a lot of manpower relatively to our country. Now, without the United States, guys, I'm just, you know, like I said, the crux of this live stream is we're talking about without the United States. So, the real question here is, can NATO and Britain hold the line? Oh, guys, you guys who've been following me for a while, you guys know what I think. My thoughts about that. My thoughts are an absolute no. Initially, there will be NATO advances, mass NATO advances, but over time, because of the way the Russian military is set up, it's a no. So initially, yes, ultimately, no. Now, how big those pushes can be and how brutal those pushes can be are going to be key. Because if we have people in Whitehall, in the British government saying, oh, no, we don't need to do that, it's too much, that's what's going to kick people in the back. You know, that really is what's going to kick people in the back foot. So, like I said, guys, can NATO minus the United States, led by Britain, hold the line? So, you know, still, NATO without the United States does still muster 2.2 million troops. Germany, I think they've got like 100 and like, I don't know, maybe 100 and less than 200,000. France about the same. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. The United Kingdom would lead NATO's enhanced forward presence all over this region, guys. You know, they really would. The United Kingdom would lead this force. Let's just consider that this happens. You know, we would scramble the United Kingdom right now. I don't know about Germany, France, and Poland, the rest of them. I'm British. You know, so Britain would scramble their rapid response. Now, the rapid response would be 16 Air Assault Brigade. Now, with the 16 Air Assault Brigade, that's like light. I'm talking about real green warfare right now. I'm talking about World War III scenarios. By my estimates, I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't think the United Kingdom could muster and deploy more than 10,000. 10,000 within a week. And that's a lot, guys. That really is a lot. That's like, and that's being very optimistic. 10,000 within a week. That is being really optimistic. That's saying, right, everybody, that's like Keir Starmer. And I hate to say this. I would much rather be giving this explanation with Boris Johnson in charge or David Cameron. I would, guys. I'd much rather David Cameron make that call or Boris Johnson make that calling him Boris. Oh, is this the leader of the? Oh yes, is this the leader of the military? No. Oh, okay. No. I'll pay my bill Wednesday. Right. What's the lead? Okay. Yes. Can we scramble all men? Whatever it takes. We need to get them out now. That I'd much rather be Boris or David Cameron, guys. Unfortunately, we're not there. We've got Keir Starmer, potentially David Lammy. There we are, guys. This is where we are. We can only piss with the. You can only do stuff with the stuff you've got. So let's break down each front line in this conflict. And we've got three, ladies and gentlemen. We've got three. We've got Poland. We've got what have we got? We've got Poland. I should know. We've got Poland. We've got Finland, and we've got the Suwalki corridor, which I guess is Poland or Lithuania, whichever way you guys are looking at. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump onto the YouTube chat. And look, guys. Can you do me a real big favor if you're watching right now? Can you like, comment, subscribe, share my stuff, ladies and gentlemen? Because I can guarantee with 100% certainty that there is no one, absolutely no one else on the internet who can give you the granular analysis like I'm doing now that I'm doing. No one can give you this granular analysis, guys. It isn't that worth a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, whatever you guys need to do. So, guys, please help me out a little bit here. Share my stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me out. Right. Donner is saying Trump to meet Zelensky on Friday as attention turns to the Ukraine war. Yeah, of course the attention is going to turn to the Ukraine war, guys. Look, I can remember back in October. Was it October? I think it was October. I may get I have got a shitload of work coming in, guys. I'm not going to get to bed well late. Let me just. Oh, guys, it's going good. Can I show you guys this? Right. I think I can show you that. Yeah. I have got 27 messages on the work chat. So I have got a shit ton of work to do, guys, when I leave this live stream. I'm going to be up all night. That's how I roll, ladies and gentlemen, because winners don't quit and quitters don't win. Remember that, guys. You'll go far in life. Donner is saying, attention is going to turn to Ukraine war. Yes, it is. I can remember back in October 20 last year, obviously, because we're not on literally a year ago. Donald Trump coming out there, he's saying, I'm going to have a peace deal in Ukraine within 24 hours. I'm not even going to wait to be. It's going to be so easy. I'm like, you can't do that. There's too much granular nuances. You can't do that. I've been operating. I know a lot more about this situation than Donald Trump does. I know a lot more about this situation than Donald Trump does and his advisors. And I know that's a massive claim, guys. I know that's a massive claim, but it's true. It's true. I know more about the Ukraine conflict than the United States top advisors. I'm and you guys are getting this information for free. Keep liking and subscribing, guys. I really do appreciate it. That's you guys talking to each other. Where's this? Somebody just said that. Saxon is saying Russians use nuclear waste to cook their sausages. Right, the Saxon. I don't know if Russians use their nuclear waste to cook their sausages. I do know that after the Chernobyl is. Oh, Donna, thank you for gifting a Real Raven 1 membership. Guys, look, there's so many of you guys gifting memberships. I don't know what that means. I'm going to try. Do you know what, guys? I think I'm going to have to start doing memberships only live streams on YouTube. I think we're ready now, guys. I do. I think we're ready. Thank you so much, Donna, for gifting a Real Raven 1 membership. I really do appreciate it, Donna. Honestly, thank you so much. And Donna, change your settings on TikTok so I can message you back. So I can't. You're sending me messages on TikTok and I can't message you back. Alfie82 is saying the real war, the only war that is relevant is sausage and bacon, surely. Right. I don't know what, guys, I haven't got time to get into this because I've got so much to get on with today. I've got so much to Donna is saying, Sean, it means you get paid. Donna, do not worry. I just want to get you guys the information out there. Donna, thank you so much. Don't worry about me or so much. Watch my ads. Watch my ads and stop skipping them. Right, let me continue with this monologue, guys. So, let's break down each front line. So we've got Finland, we have got Suwalki Corridor, Suwalki Gap, whatever you want to call it, and we have got Poland. Now, I've spoke about these all many times before in previous live streams, so I'm not jumping on any bandwagon right now, guys. I'm literally jumping on no bandwagon. What I'm talking about now, I've spoken about in depth in previous videos. Like, you can literally, it's all public record. It's all there. It's all for you guys to see. So, I'm talking about stuff I already know about. So let's start with Finland then. Finland has a big reservist military. They're trained and armed. They've got javelins. They've got NLAWs. They are going to fight fiercely, and they will fight fiercely. Remember, guys, look, anybody who wants to look on a map of like Finland, the Finland-Russian border is absolutely huge. It's absolutely huge. Now, the Finns the Finns will inflict, in this invasion, guys, the Finns would inflict massive casualties on the Russians. Now, the problem is here, guys, and the problem always is, it's a numbers game. The Russians are using conscripts, all right? So conscripts, you can say, right, that village over there, you're all conscripts now, off you go. Takes 15 minutes. NATO, we have to train those people. We have to equip those people. We have to make sure those people have the best, the scenario I've given you guys lots of times to the football teams, so it's not as easy. It's not as easy predicting these things as it seems. There's so many granularizations of this. So, the Finns would they would inflict mass the Finns would inflict mass casualties on Russia. I'm saying maybe like 10, 15,000 within a month, which would be, I guess, mirroring Kharkiv's defense, but, ladies and gentlemen, like I always say, this is a global conflict on an, you guys know what I'm going to say, don't you? Industrial scale. So that kind of doesn't matter to the Russians. Do you know why it doesn't matter to the Russians? Because they can keep producing the artillery at a rate that we cannot. They can keep producing the 105 howitzer rounds. They can refurbish. Sorry, not reservice. I guess servicing would be the right word. They can service those artillery barrels, and they can keep that artillery going. And look, guys, we all want to talk about drone warfare and these little drones, and oh, we're using these one drone, and guys, stop. It's a false economy. Drones, these little quadcopters, yes, they work. There's a place for them in modern warfare. There really is, guys. Absolutely, there's a place for them in modern warfare. Artillery is still king. Guys, artillery is still king. Artillery is better. Artillery is more effective. Artillery is more potent. So you think about it, right? Just consider this, guys, all right? Consider you have got one drone. And that's carrying, let's just consider one drone one drone explosion is equal to one artillery explosion, right? And I'll give you pros and cons, guys, and I'll be quite fair. I think I'll exhaust all of them. Your drone is operated by FPV, which is first person viewer. So you literally, that one drone has one operator, and he's got first person view goggles on, or he's looking on a laptop, and he's or she, what are they called in Ukraine? There's women who do this in Ukraine. They're called Nochevizhma, which would be translated as night witch. So you've got one person operating one drone. Yes, they are more accurate. They are. There's no denying that. The drones flown on FPV, they're more accurate than artillery. Here's where it starts to get complicated, guys, all right? Yes, they're more accurate for the ones that work. A lot of these drones, guys, you get technical issues. You get a snag in the fiber optics. You get a battery snap. You get lots of technical issues with those drones. So a lot of those drones have to be dropped down. Now, another thing that people don't really talk about, because people don't understand this industry. Another thing that people don't understand is a drone flying at 60 kilometers an hour, which is the full speed that you're really realistically going to get from an FPV drone. That's going to take 20 minutes to get to that target. So you can think now, and that's assuming you don't have to do any evasive maneuvers. You don't have to land. You're literally straight to the target and going to strike, which is never going to happen, but let's just go with that. 60 kilometers an hour equals to 20 minutes maximum range. So you're now taking one operator, one person, 20 minutes to get that drone from point of launching. We're not worried about servicing it now. We're just saying, so the whole time it takes to get those drones off the ground, over an attack, 20 minutes, maybe even an hour with some servicing time. You've got to fit the batteries, you've got to fit the munitions, pull safety pins out, do flight checks, make sure all the connections are right. It's time. It takes a lot of time. Now, that's one person for one bomb. Then it's going to take another one person to another hour to get another bomb. Artillery, you've got 3 people. And by the time the first round hits the target, you've probably got another 10 or 15 in the air. So you see what I'm talking about now, guys? The manpower, the human resources it takes to use drones and the accuracy, it's not really a game changer, guys. It's just a direction shift. Because your artillery crew, say there's an artillery crew of 3, boom, 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 boom. Those artillery, those rounds are going out. As soon as that round's gone, it's gone. You don't need to worry about it. Boom, boom, boom. So now you see the difference, guys. These quadcopter drones are not really changing anything, guys. All right. Sorry, I went on a bit of a side quest there, guys. Let's get back on target, guys. Let's go back on target. So Finland, you know, there will be that massive push by Finland. Into Russia. Into Finland by Russia. Now, you've got to talk about Poland, guys. You've got to talk about Poland. We cannot talk about a war in Eastern Europe without mentioning Poland. So, from what I can find online, Poland have 12 Patriot missile defense batteries. You know, maybe 60% of Russian missiles, based on Ukraine data, would be intercepted, and that's best case scenario for the Polish. But airstrikes on the airfields, rail hubs, NATO logistics lines would strike. Remember, guys, we are talking about a global conflict on an industrial scale now. So Russia know this. Russia know that the Patriot missile defense system has a 60% attrition rate. Is that word? 60% strike rate. So what they're going to do is they're going to send their first 60% to deplete the missiles, and then the real 40% is going to carry all the munitions. That's how it's going to work, guys. You know, air defenses will be overwhelmed, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter how much money, time, effort you've spent on your air defenses. Doesn't matter what your defense minister has told you. They're lying. They're lying. They're misinformed, unless they are saying exactly what I'm saying right now, which is all air defenses will be overwhelmed. Best case scenario is mitigation, guys. It really is. So in Poland, I would believe that I don't think a ground invasion is coming to Poland. Finland, yes. Ground invasion in Poland, no. I believe that would be airstrikes on the rail hubs in Rzeszów, rail hubs in where else I'm going? What's it? Guys, if anyone's from Poland and I'm butchering this name, Przemyśl, am I saying that right? Przemyśl, it's right on the Ukraine-Poland border. Also, military locations in Warsaw and all airfields. Because like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe the Ukrainian F-16s are being flown from Ukraine. I believe they are being flown from Poland. Now we've got to talk about the Suwalki Gap, the Suwalki Corridor, whatever you want to call it, guys. Right? It doesn't really matter. That is it's a patch of land between Belarus, or for you guys, Belarus, Kaliningrad, which is Russian, on the Baltic Sea, and then you've got Lithuania to the north and Poland to the south. I want to say 60 kilometers, I don't know, depending on how you're measuring it. That would give, if the Russians or the Belarusians manage to push through the Suwalki Corridor, guys, that would give the Russians that land corridor into the Baltic Sea, which would then start to isolate countries like Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, all those countries, guys. You're starting to look at a naval conflict. However, ladies and gentlemen, I need the toilet. I'm absolutely dying for a wee, guys. I'm just going to run into the house. I'm going to have a wee. I'll be right back. I will get the comments on YouTube, and then we'll continue, guys. All right? Literally, just give me a second, guys. Oh, by the beard of Zeus and Odin's eye. That felt good, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'm back now. I'm back. I'm going to get your comments on YouTube. I'm then going to continue. But look, guys, before we go on this live stream, you know, I watch a lot of mainstream media, you know, in research, and what I can say is nobody knows what they're talking about. You get these mainstream media pundits and speculators and commentators. They have no idea what's coming. Zero. Because they've not lived through that. I've lived through these conflicts, guys, all right? I've got a lot of experience in this region. I've got a lot of experience with these weapon systems. I've got a lot of experience at geopolitics. So I 100% know what's coming. They're my 3 locations, guys, okay? I forgot them. Poland, you know, airstrikes on Poland, you know, I think that, I'll be quite clear, I think that's fair game. Airstrikes on Poland, you know, the Finland border, you've got to understand that border with Finland and Russia, it's huge, it's unpoliceable. It would be almost impossible for the Finns to police that border. And also the Suwalki corridor or the Suwalki gap, whatever you want to call it. Now, they're my 3 highlighted areas, and there's obviously a lot more. I'm going to come onto this chat right now, guys. In fact, what I'm going to do is, you know what? I'm going to close down YouTube. I'm going to close down the YouTube chat. In fact, Sean McKay on YouTube is saying, Starmer got seriously belittled like a little boy by Trump live. Yeah, look, guys, you know, the Starmer Britain Trump thing. Look, the United States are not going to get involved in this conflict in Europe. They're not interested. The United States are interested in the Middle East. I've been saying this for a long time, and you can see that now in real time. So look, guys, oh, Jesus Christ, I've got over 100. I've got 200 messages. Right, guys, I'm not going to be able to get these messages on YouTube. Absolutely not. On TikTok, absolutely not. Listen, guys, if you guys have messaged on, if you guys have messaged on TikTok, I just don't have it. I don't have the capacity to get you guys. I'm going to jump over now to, YouTube. I'm going to close you guys down now on TikTok. I'll be over on YouTube. I'll be answering the questions on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. I'll be continuing this live stream, guys. Okay, we're going to talk about cyber warfare. We're going to talk about wildcards. We're going to be talking about the nuclear threat from Russia. And then we're going to start to close that down as well, guys. But if you're not going to jump over to YouTube to continue this chat, then I will see you guys. You fantastic lot on TikTok. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10, where we'll be talking about whatever shenanigans have manifested in the last, 12 or 10 hours or whatever. Anyway, guys, I'm going to close you guys down now. I'll be over on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, X, and TikTok. I'll see you TikTok a lot later. And we're off. We are off. Oh, hang on. Steph became a new member. Thank you so much, Steph, for becoming a new member. And Steph, like I say to all the new members, thank you. You're most welcome. And I hope you're going to be a powerful contributor to this channel. I really do. I hope you're going to be a powerful contributor to this channel. Right, let me get the... I'm jumping down to the bottom, guys. I'll jump down to the bottom. Music remixes is saying, music remixers, what music do you remix? Do you like your thumbnail looks like you're a synthwave, master? I love a bit of synthwave, guys. I do. Sean is shutting us down. I'm not shutting you guys down. Slim is saying Sean is shutting us down. Have a great evening. I'm not shutting you guys down. I always shut down TikTok first. I don't know, guys. Does anybody, you know what I say? I'm closing you guys down on TikTok. Does anyone on YouTube think I'm closed? Like, who thinks I'm closing you guys down now on TikTok? Did I say I was closing you guys down on YouTube? I don't know what happened there, guys. Maybe I just swizzled that the wrong way. Right, ladies and gentlemen, look, guys, I'm going to jump onto the comments in a minute. Let me just finish this monologue. Guys, because I do have quite a bit to get through. So I want to talk about some wild cards now. But before that, I just want to give you guys like my initial thoughts on this, because there's lots of people trying to give analysis on this. There's lots of people saying, oh, NATO spend this many millions on defense and Russia spend this many millions on defense. Right, okay. What are they getting for that money? It's like, you know, my mum, she came up the other day and she said, Sean, you've got to spend at least £10 on a bottle of red wine for it to taste nice. And I said, what? She said, yeah, if you don't spend £10 on a bottle of red wine, it won't taste nice. I said, oh. And it kind of, and that's like the theory with defense spending. People think if you're spending more on defense, you're doing more. You're not. Absolutely not. So, hypothetical scenario. Let's just say that Britain are spending £1 million a year. Just go with me, guys. Go with me. Let's just say Britain are spending £1 million a year on defense. And for that £1 million a year, they are paying 10 professors 100 grand a year to be I don't know, develop something. All right. So the British are spending £1 million a year. They get 10 professors and they get loads of paperwork and documents and theoretical physics. Okay. The Russians are spending 100 grand. And they're spending that 100 grand on 545 ammunition for their rifles and hand grenades. Who's going to win that war? Like, just go with it, guys. Who's going to win that war? Britain, when we turn up and we've got all our paperwork, I don't know. Yes, we've got this to fight you with, all these documents here. You know, we've got theoretical physics. Take that, Russia. And Russia go, yes, of course, we have 545 and hand grenade. Get out of the way. Like, so, you know, the defense spending, it's a massive topic. That's like kind of simplified. You've also got to understand things in Russia don't cost as much as they do in the United Kingdom. The Russians don't have the red tape in the bureaucracy that they do in Russia. You know, so the whole defense spending thing, it's a very peculiar metric. And guys, honestly, it would take me probably like, I don't think I'd ever be able to explain it all. Anyway, guys, okay. So I want to talk about the wild cards. You know, I want to talk about some wild cards first. So first of all, Russia, you know, Russia's nuclear weapon is the dark cloud. You know, I don't know how many nuclear weapons Russia has. Some estimates say they've got like 3,700. I don't know. The euphemism or the analogy I give is, imagine having a scrapyard. You could claim that you have 200 cars. I have 200 automobiles in my facility. Oh, right. So in your head, you're thinking like, I don't know, 200 Ford, whatever, 200 cars. You're thinking you've got 200 cars. And when you turn up, you've just got like a scrapyard and you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, you did say you've got automobile. Yeah, you have. Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Right, how many have you got that actually work? We don't have any that work. We use all money to buy private yacht and sail in Mediterranean. Oh, right, okay. That's not helping me. So that's one scenario. Excuse me. Britain's nuclear weapon. Again, look, guys, I've spoke about this. I've gone into depth about this. I'm not convinced that a nuclear weapon will ever be used, but I will go through this and kind of be objective. So Russia is the big boy with the nuclear weapons, but my question, and I don't know the answer to this, is how many of those nuclear weapons work? How many of those can you pull a trigger or press a button and something actually happens? I don't know the answer to that. I would say it's a lot less than they're claiming, like a lot less, like fractionally less. Britain, I think Britain has like 250 nuclear weapons, but of those 250, I would quite confidently say a good proportion of those will work. France, similar number, I think slightly more, but less than 300. Again, nuclear weapons that will actually work, that are maintained, that are kept in date with all the little bits of chemicals they need. Tritium's one. I do have a little bit of experience working with tritium, so I don't think it's as one-sided as people think if we start to do nuclear side-by-side comparisons. I really don't, guys. I don't think it's as one-sided. Now, what we do know, though, is Russia loves, I don't know if they're going to push for it. I'd assume they would. The Russians love a frozen conflict. So they like push in and hold it inside. Sorry, guys. The Russians like to push in and then they like a frozen conflict. Over time, people forget about it. Remember, the Russians don't work on a same 4-year, a 4-year, what's the word I'm looking for? Election cycle, yeah. The Russians don't work on a 4-year election cycle. Putin will be in as long as Putin wants to be in. So they don't have to work. Look, guys, ironically, the first British, I was going to say president, the first British prime minister that Vladimir Putin shook hands with was Tony Blair. That's how long Vladimir Putin's been in power. So he can wait another 4 years. He can wait until the political spectrum changes. Now, if we're talking about a war of attrition, which this will be an industrial conflict, you can't talk about, you can't not mention China and their production capacity. Remember, China are allied with Russia. So if China stays neutral with Russia, which I don't think they will, but if China did stay neutral, then I think certain components for drones, certain components for ammunition would dry up. But I don't think they would, guys. I don't think China would stay. I don't think China would stay neutral. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to the end of this now. So, what are the takeaways from, like, if you live in the United Kingdom, what are the takeaways? Well, first of all, the United Kingdom and the British military will be acting as the European Special Forces because Britain have the most potent strike capacity. What that means is Britain have the ability to surge forward, take ground very aggressively. What Britain lack is the heavy armor and the ability to hold that ground. So in that context, I do think that is Britain's role in this, whatever's coming next. Now, Russia, Russia may overstretch themselves. Ultimately, with Russian conscription, and I'm not going over anything, and I'm not saying anything new here, guys. Ultimately, with Russian conscription, the way the Russian military is set up, I believe you would see early wins for NATO, but ultimately, and I'm talking about the way NATO is structured right now, I don't see this as a win I don't see this as a NATO win, guys. I really don't, taking everything into consideration. And I'm talking about everything now. I'm talking about manufacturing. I'm talking about tactics. I'm talking about logistical supply. I'm talking about morale. I'm talking about tactics. Literally, I'm doing all of this. Whereas you might go to a colonel who's only ever served in the British military and he may say, oh no, the British military, yes, that's fine. That would happen in the first couple of months. What's going to happen when your attrition rate reaches more than 20%? Oh, it's a 20% attrition rate. Yeah, that's what it's going to... They're the things that are coming, guys. Look, and if you don't think this is coming, let me just leave it before I come into the chat, guys. I'm just going to go with official figures now, and these are low figures. I could find other figures that are a lot higher. So the official numbers from the Ukraine conflict of Russians that have, let me just Google this real quick. I'm just conscious that this might get the video banned. Right, I'm just going here, guys. I'm going to go with this. Right, that didn't give me an answer. Right, it's very difficult to find this answer, guys. Very difficult. Right, okay. Right, okay. 2 days ago, guys. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this from 2 days ago. So this is from 2 days ago from the Kiev Independent. Now, I know these. Look, guys, I know these numbers are massively like subjective. I know this, but I've got to go with the number from somewhere. So from the Kiev Independent, over 135,000 Russian soldiers killed in Ukraine, identified by media investigations. The Russian independent media outlet Medozona, in collaboration with BBC's Russian service, has confirmed the identities of 135,000 Russian military personnel. So let's just go with that number. That's the people that have been identified. Obviously, you've got missing in action, you've got killed in action, you've got people who've been blown up that bad, you don't even know who they are. I don't think that will take into consideration North Korean troops, if any of those have lost their lives. So let's just go with that number, guys, okay? This is since 2022, all right? 135,000. Guys, these fucking numbers are phenomenal. Phenomenally bad. Loss of life. I want to go into space and put a colony on the moon, put a colony on Mars. Over 135,000 Russian soldiers have been killed in Ukraine since 2022. Now, that's an article that has been 12th of October, Kiev Independent, right? 135,000 in like 3 years, should we call it? 3 years? Now, consider the 20 years that the British military was in Afghanistan. The British military lost 400 and not 450,000, 457 lives were lost. British military lives were lost. 400. Less than half of 1,000. The Russians have lost over 135,000 since 2022. Do you understand the numbers game here, guys? Do you understand the colossal loss of life? It's unbelievable. And this is why I always say we are heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale. This is an industrial war, guys. And like here in the West, I'm confident that here in the West, we are just not ready for this. We're really not ready for this. Now, look, guys, if you're watching this later on and you want to jump back, you want to go rewind this video, this scenario assumes no U.S. involvement, guys. All right, and I don't think, and I do think that's going to be real, all right, because the United States is going to be preoccupied in the Middle East. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get these. Let me get some of these comments. Right, what's Saxon saying? Right, Saxon says he's bored. Don't worry, Saxon, are you banned now? I've just banned Saxon. I'm not interested. I've banned Saxon. He's gone. I banned Saxon. He's gone. He's not. Look, Saxon's not going to be bored anymore. He's banned. He can go watch, like, Saxon can go watch BBC now and be dead entertained. But Saxon's gone. What else have we got? Everybody's arguing with Saxon. Everybody's arguing with him. Alex82 is saying, let me speak of the word Siggy Papers brought to you today by Sesame Street. I don't know what that means, Alfie82, but I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I once tried to smoke a pipe. It was like being kicked in the lung. It really was like being kicked in the lung. I can't smoke. I'm a non-smoker. James is saying, what you've said there, Sean, is shocking that NATO would... No, I don't think NATO would win, guys, without the United States. Okay, so James's comment here is saying, what you've said there, Sean, is shocking that NATO wouldn't win. Europe needs to get its act together right now. Yeah, what Europe needs to do right now, and they're not going to do this, they need to accept the inevitable, what's coming. They need mass standardization of kit and equipment. That means not 100 different vehicles they're using, they need to use one vehicle so all parts are interchangeable. I'm talking about soft skin now, like Land Rover type or G-Wagon. I go with G-Wagon, actually, it's better. Or whatever the vehicle is that they're just going to be their everyday vehicle, they need to just use one vehicle. That's it. Standardize it above the board. One rifle. Whatever that rifle is, it needs to be standardized above the board. So if a German soldier's weapon breaks down, that can be repaired by a Polish armorer, because all weapons need to be interchangeable. Drones, all drones, whether that is ISR, kinetic strike capability, whatever, they all need to be the same. So rather than the Polish using, I don't know, I'm making this up, Raven 1 drone, and the Germans using Hawk 1 drone, those parts are not interchangeable. The operator from a German drone can't operate a Polish drone. And in a time of a global conflict, everybody needs to be able to use everybody else's kit. Think about the aircraft. You've got a Rafale. You've got a Rafale aircraft, and you have got an F-35. Literally, you have got two different chains of logistics. Trust me, guys, one chain of logistics is better because you've got interchangeable parts. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done. Slim is saying the G-Wagon is nicer. Yes, it is. It is nicer, and it's better off road as well. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys a final. Word. Talk about what we've been speaking about today, and then I will close this live stream down. So, obviously, guys, today we'll be talking about Phase Zero, which is being branded on mainstream media. Phase Zero, which is a Russian build-up to a potential strike on NATO. I've given you guys what I'm saying is different to what the mainstream media are saying, but you know what, guys? I give you guys my own opinion, analysis, and speculation. I'm saying it's going to be Finland. I'm saying it's going to be the Suwalki Corridor, and I'm saying it's going to be Poland. The real true boots on the ground will come in Finland. The Suwalki Corridor, that will be a land grab, and airstrikes on Polish airfields. I do think, if it's going to happen, guys, that's how it's going to happen, or one or each of all of those. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about UK domestic now. There's a document released, and if you guys want to get your phones or write this down somewhere, DTD0012 or Delta Tango Delta 0012. This is written evidence submitted by the Home Office with support from the Ministry of Defence and the Department of Transport. Now, that article was written by Parliament, I guess, and submitted. Now, that is giving people the actual threat of the homegrown drone threat to the United Kingdom. So, look, guys, I've been talking about this for a long time. So, people are smuggling munitions over the border, whether you believe that or not. I think it's happening. I would say it's highly likely that people are smuggling munitions over the border. Those munitions can quite easily, be put in drones and unmanned aerial vehicles. So, that's the reality of that situation, guys. I do think that's coming into the United Kingdom. And look, guys, the crux of this video, if you guys want to check this out yourselves, is from an article from RBC Ukraine. Russia begins Phase Zero in build-up for war with NATO. And I spoke about that at the beginning of this live stream. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to close this down now, guys. Thank you for you guys who've subscribed. And it's not subscribed, is it? It's gifted. Become members, and obviously, so we've got Steph, who became a member, thank you so much, and Donna Hogan, who gifted a Real Raven 1 membership. So thank you so much, guys, for the gifted memberships and the and the memberships. Listen, guys, I'm going to be back on tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking, I think the main news tomorrow morning is going to be about the Middle East, and I'm trying to preempt that, what that's going to be. You know, so the Middle East's not stopped. You know, there's still violence going on in the Middle East. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow, guys. Look, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'll see you guys there.